Hello everyone, it's GT time. I'm your moderator, Kyle Bossman, and joining us as always is our uniquely talented and knowledgeable panel, including Brandon Jones.
Happy Halloween!
Daniel Bloodworth.
Hey.
In the super seat this week, Brad Ellis.
Hi.
And making this all happen, the very spooky Ian Hank.
Hi.
Oh, your shot is spooky, dude.
Spooky shot.
That's pretty good.
If you are merely a listener, we had to explain this. We have like a murderer like watching, spying on Ian shot this week.
There should be heavy breathing.
Stole the SDI converter box again.
Well, we don't got to air out our dirty laundry.
So we have to use camera 4. So it looks pretty cool. I can see myself from the side, which is weird.
Yeah.
You don't often get to do that.
It's freaky. You definitely feel like we're spying on you.
I like it.
Brad, since you are in the super seat this week, we have a whole new question for you. We've gone through the Power Rangers and the Ninja Turtles. We have a serious question this time. Brad, the aliens have invaded. One alien has gone rogue. It's holding a lightsaber and a Tron disc. It says, "Hey buddy, I'm here to help. Take one of my weapons." Which weapon do you take?
Either way, I'm going to lose a limb with any of these weapons. Because I'm going to pick the lightsaber.
Okay.
Because I'll feel a little more comfortable with that. If I throw that Tron disc, that thing's coming back, I'm losing my hand. I'm not catching that.
Okay, sure. Because the thing is, you don't get a lot of time to train in this scenario.
Yeah, and if you miss, that's it.
It does come
You're
back.
done.
No, it bounces around and comes
I'm not
back.
going to be able to catch that.
Okay.
Are you kidding me?
So you feel slightly safer with the lightsaber,
Yes.
and that's why you picked it. Okay.
That's
Yeah,
it.
You just end up
Simple
a
and
pile
easy.
of pixels in the floor.
Is there not like
Yeah.
a glove that grabs
He
it
did
or
not.
something?
He did not say glove.
No. You don't get a glove. It does come back, though. It works like it does in the movies. Oh, my goodness. Okay, you know what? We're working through our problems today.
Keep going.
We're doing a quick show, everybody.
Also, the wide is like off kilter. I'll fix it.
Okay, we got a short little window in which to make the show happen, and it's happening, and I feel good about that. And
Doing corrections before the show's even over.
we're doing corrections now. Let's do it. Let's begin corrections music, please. It's very loud. Spartan 4s are canonically flashy. The full quote that Davis was trying to recall is, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." That was Martin Luther King Jr. Killer whales are whales. The closing
I
music...
missed that. What? Okay.
Oh, we just said that killer whales aren't whales, and in fact they are.
Who said that?
I think that was Davis. I don't want to throw him under the bus.
whales?
Yes. Well, there's always something like that. You know that killer whales aren't whales. They are.
Whale poop's apparently very important too.
Last week, the ending music of the show played a half hour early.
Awesome.
To explain to everyone why that is, the editing process of this show is largely a copy and paste process. And it's sometimes...
Probably what happened is someone asked me on Twitter why that happened, and
Yeah.
I said it was the mystery of the dance.
Sure, it was a mystery
I
of
think
the
what
dance.
really happened was it must have gotten ungrouped from the ending group,
Yeah.
and I moved it all to the end, but the music got ungrouped somehow. So,
Pardon our dust.
but wait, did the I Love Yoshi, did that happen in the middle too?
I think it played in the middle. I'm not sure how it actually, if that even popped up.
Huh.
Yeah, it's not the same without the music, certainly.
Who knows what happened last week? We're not entirely sure.
Xbox One, if you're playing 360 games on your Xbox One, you can go to the Xbox One menu by hitting the home button, and the Xbox 3 guide if you hit the two start and select buttons. Obviously, they're not named start and select, they're named something else now, but that's what they are.
Lines and squares.
You download those games. You put the disc in, and then it just kind of verifies that you have that game and downloads to your hard drive. You don't need the disc after that.
Which is like how they wanted it to be from the beginning, but everyone spazzed, right?
It is 100% that,
Correct.
yeah.
So it's like, that's what's so funny is like everyone's like, yeah, backwards compatibility. When at first they announced it, they were like, fuck you, no.
Well, there was a lot more to it than that because there were going to be online checks every 24 hours and things
Well,
like
yeah,
that.
that's silly.
Toka is the turtle, Razor is the dog beast. The Payday 2 skins are only for weapons, they're not for your body, but you can get some skins for DLC weapons you don't own, which is very funny. In fact, Dota 2 and CSGO, they both have similar chest for free, pay for the key microtransactions, though they do not include gameplay buffs. Those things in the chests are always cosmetic. The Vita lawsuit was specifically about remote play with PS3 games. Remote play works for all PS4 games and do not require a special peripheral. End correction music.
There's a lot of corrections.
Oh my goodness.
Whoa.
I do have some more corrections. But these are like comments. Okay, I guess we can keep
it going.
Ian, these are both in response to how you called all money people evil.
I was waiting for this.
This is from Egmond. Not all money people are evil. Some of us are just trying to learn the game that is corporate life so we can use our skills for good.
Corporate man.
And the whale joke says, Ian, I work in corporate video at a large accounting firm, and I couldn't be happier with the people I've met and worked with. Like anywhere, there are some jerks, but the cool people far outweigh the buttholes. This is a business whose sole purpose is to make money, but they figured out a way to do that without being soulless monsters. Just giving you some hope for the rest of the world outside of GT. No, you, oh God.
I missed it.
You had such a good out.
I know. Well, here's the thing.
Okay, what's the thing?
I met, one of my best friends in the world I met working that job. He was another video guy. And I was in a band for years with a guy who was a trader. So, like, obviously, blanket statement, is not everybody. I mean, there are some worthless piles of money garbage that work here. But, like...
In this room.
Not in this room, actually. No. Because none of us have a lot of money. But, it's not across the board.
Okay.
Obviously.
We're cool with money people. I do have one more clarification. This is our weekly Destiny clarification. Something interesting happened in Destiny this week. Okay, well, let's start that again. For Halloween, the Eververse store got its first consumable items this week.
Yeah.
Halloween candy and Halloween masks. The masks are temporary until you add glue to them, and then they become legendary and permanent. The candy provides various temporary buffs. Things that would increase glimmer for specific enemy types or increase experience points for specific types of weapons. You can earn these items in-game, but you can also buy packs of them outright with silver. GT Time would now like to formally apologize for complaining about a potential situation that didn't come to fruition for 2 whole weeks. Gosh, we really jumped the gun. End corrections music.
Oh my.
Wow. Heavy.
That was so smug.
Heavy.
Brad,
Yeah.
just go tweak the mouse on that computer over there.
We're just gonna have to do that the whole show, though.
Yeah, man.
Oh my God.
That's why they pay him the big bucks.
Okay.
Game
We're
trailers.
moving ahead.
It's like somebody did something to our laptop.
Yeah, everything's going to hell.
So that was it. Yeah, basically, the consumables were added 2 weeks after, like, oh my God. And we got so much just like, hey, hold on here, guys. Even from Matt Blair, like, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. No, it happened. You got them. You got those
Gotcha.
consumables that include buffs. They're in the game.
Gotcha, Matt Blair.
The candy thing is a cute idea.
It's
It's a
just-
little weird, though, that when you wear a mask, it takes your light level, your armor away. It'd be nice if it went on top of your helmet.
So wait, are you wearing masks right now in Destiny?
Sometimes you have to wear a mask to, like, do a quest or whatever. One of them was trip off the tower, which is really funny. Also, that camera seems to be
Yeah,
moving.
you're
up.
like sinking.
Yeah. Help me! But yeah, it's pretty funny, except you take your helmet off, and you're just wearing paper. So, like, my light level drops from, like, 296 to 260 or whatever. I'm going to get creamed out there by the big bads.
Wait, so the mask is just for fun, isn't it?
It's for funsies and for some missions.
Wait, what happens with the missions with the masks?
It's like, get 30 kills while wearing the Cryptarch mask, or find this thing while being a tiger.
So Ian,
And
what,
you have to get the
That
cer- you have
camera
to be
is
wearing
sliding
a
back in
certain
real
mask.
time right now.
I know, I love it.
Ian, what if I told the camera's gone? What if I told you? What if I told you you could spend silver to buy a random pack and then get random masks inside of those packs?
The weird thing is that in the description of the mask, it just says skull mask.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if...
It's like the Titanic. This is so sad.
It's been an honor playing with you boys. So I don't know if it's just the skull mask or if it's other masks.
Okay.
Who knows?
That is, yeah. Well, there it is. Basically, it's the candy. It's the candy that gives you buffs, and we talked about how consumables were coming. You could spend money
That
on
candy
them.
looks gross, though. It's like grandma candy.
Yeah, it is like
It's like
grandma
those
candy.
weird gummies that
butterscotch?
you're like, what is this?
The problem is, like, I don't want to complain about it too much because it is fun Halloween stuff. That's the thing. It's like Destiny just having a good time.
Yeah. I just imagine some guy gluing a mask to his face.
In real life?
Yeah, the way it's worded, yeah.
No, you add glue to the mask when it's off your face, and then you put it back on.
See? That's not at all what you just said.
So let's talk about... No, you said gluing a mask to... All right, well, let's talk about what
going.
actually happened this week.
So wait a minute. Are the masks gonna go away if I don't put glue on them?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I can't even see you.
That's crazy. I want
masks-
to keep my masks. I got a tiger.
Ian, if you want some glue, you can spend silver on packs that may include
Well,
glue.
I got some glue. I got a drop. I got
Okay.
a drop of some random glue.
Yeah, that'll do it.
It was great.
So that mask can last forever, only if you put that glue
Good.
on it.
Good.
So let's talk about Paris Games Week. Has anyone in this panel ever heard of Paris Games Week before?
Not before Sony announced the conference, no.
Yeah, no.
Brandon, had you?
In passing, yeah.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
I've heard it referred to before.
So
I
now-
knew there was something in Paris. I didn't know. If you would have asked me what it was called, I probably couldn't have told you.
Yeah. So, I mean, now we know. Now it's a thing. It's actually a very popular show. It's been around for 5 years. Sony had a press conference there this week and announced several games. And so I want to talk through each of these games. I want to get your opinions on them. There's a lot of games, so we're going to have to kind of rapid fire through them.
Is it the only gaming event named after the city it's in?
Tokyo Game Show?
Yeah, Tokyo Game Show. Okay, I'm just saying it's classic smug French.
No. That's not like it's
Smug Japanese now.
nobody's being smug here.
Well, just Los Angeles Games Weekend would be a funny name for E3.
Ooh, that'd be nice. I would really love Los Angeles.
There's a lot of different expos that are named after the places they're in.
Gran Turismo Sport is probably the biggest game announcement we saw this week. Gran Turismo Sport is I would call it a semi-sequel. This is not official, but it's kind of apparent that it is. It's not Gran Turismo 7.
It's like a platform, right? Like a racing platform kind of thing?
Yeah. So basically, to explain it, I hope I'm doing this right. There are basically two ways to play it. One is you're sponsoring or you're representing your country, and the other is you're representing your favorite car manufacturer. And basically, like it's kind of like Drive Club, except those are your clubs. You're the United States or you're Ford.
Sounds cool, in theory.
Yeah, I think it's what it is. I think it's a new prologue. It's basically like GT Prologue was. Blood is a reason to be excited about this game.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's first Gran Turismo on PS4, so it's going to be very interesting to see how it advances and all of that, and really put that mark on the system.
But didn't you think it would make a greater mark if they just waited for the sequel?
We'll have to see more of what sport actually is all about. I mean, if it's more akin to just prologue or something, or then probably not. But it's hard to say. It's hard to say how much they're going to expand on it.
What we do know is that we're going to see this in early 2016 in a beta form. How crazy is that?
It's pretty good.
Well, I mean,
What do you mean,
but
how
it's-
crazy,
again,
what's crazy about
What's
that?
crazy
There's
about that is
nothing crazy.
that is extremely soon for a game that didn't exist before this week.
well, that because it's a smaller game. That's why we're getting that.
But they've had the GT Academy demos and stuff. They did that for Gran Turismo 6, and they had the GT HD thing before Prologue came out on PS3. So I mean,
Ooh, I forgot about that weird thing. Yeah.
yeah. So sport is probably going to be more significant than either of those.
You think so? Why? What evidence do you have to think it's more significant than those?
It just strikes me as they actually have like a career to it.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, man. It might just be like bare bones multiplayer. They didn't talk too much about the progression of the game. I don't know. Yeah, it's a weird thing. It's like they talked for a long time about it during the press conference.
Can we talk about how weird that was, kind of? Like
Sure,
that
what
whole
was weird
talk?
about that?
Like him, like standing like this when they're talking. Like no one seemed like amped up to be there.
Sure.
Like they're just kind of. It was like the weirdest, awkwardest thing I've ever seen.
You've seen plenty of
I've
weird,
seen
awkward
plenty of
things,
awkward,
Brad.
like, but-
and this takes
Like
the
it wasn't
cake.
funny awkward. I was just like,
I don't know, man. There's always Konami press conference, so.
yeah, but at least that's funny.
That's funny awkward. This was in the middle of a press conference, kind of like announcing the biggest game. Gran Turismo's back. This is
Their biggest franchise.
our biggest
There was
franchise.
Suit Guy in Tokyo.
Sorry?
Suit Guy.
Which was Suit Guy?
The guy that had to keep his suit closed.
Oh, okay.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, he was great. But yeah, the announcement of Gran Turismo Sport to me doesn't feel like a huge impact. I mean, it's weird. I don't remember one shot from the trailer. Brandon, do you?
It was just cars. I mean,
Yeah, that's exactly what I
I
mean.
remember. I think there was that shot where the car came around the corner and driving towards the camera.
In slow-mo, and
Yeah,
then
and
there
the-
were a bunch of quick cuts.
Maybe it might have been a lens flare in there. I think.
Yeah. I
And then
mean-
it rained for a second.
Actually, so I guess the one part I do remember is the shot of the flags. You know what I mean? It says represent your country, and you see the flags go by. And I'm like, that might leave an impact. You know what I mean? The idea of like, hey, Italy has the best Gran Turismo racers in the world. That might be something cool.
Well,
You better believe there's some people in Italy that are going to want to have the best Gran Turismo players in the world. Yeah,
absolutely, yeah.
Well, especially if you're going to announce this, if that divisiveness of that country representation is set up in the demo, in whatever we're going to be playing at the beginning of 2016. If that's like geared towards that, then that's really smart. I think then that's a reason to get involved in the beta, even though your information is not going to carry over to the actual game. You're just like, oh, I want to get involved to see if we can win this, to see if the U.S. can chart. How is the U.S. going to do in something like this?
We're not going to win.
Well, I know we're not going to win, but
Yeah, I don't know.
We have
compete.
The thing is, we got too many
Could we get a
scrubs
bronze?
bringing down the average.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I probably shouldn't play that.
US, we can do this. Get good at Gran Turismo. Let's talk about Robinson the Journey, another game that was just announced. This is a Crytek game. First to PlayStation 4 because of PlayStation VR. This is a VR game. We saw very little of it. Brandon, what's your impression of Robinson the Journey?
Is this the dinosaur game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
The thing is, it's not a dinosaur game, but it is the dinosaur game for now.
Well, how do we know it's not a dinosaur game? Did they say you're going to be going to different
eras?
locations and places and stuff? Locations.
Not necessarily, but that we're going on a grand journey. You know what I mean?
All right, so we don't know. I mean, it could just be a dinosaur game.
I'm willing to make a side bet that there is more to this game than dinosaurs.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make a bet because that would involve me actually caring where the ends up either way.
No, okay, so hold on. Why don't you care? When Crytek announces an timed exclusive game for PlayStation 4 that's VR.
That's VR that no one's demoed yet. It's like we're not gonna play that for a long, long time. That's something that at this point I'm not gonna be excited until VR comes in the mail. Then it's like, oh, okay, now when you actually announce something, I can anticipate it or kind of gauge when I'm gonna get it or what the experience is gonna be like. But the way that was sold just kind of set up. You're like, imagine if you're in a forest and there's dinosaurs. It's just like, I've done that enough in video games to not really need to actually be physically there, to not really see the advantage of that. I was getting really bad King Kong vibes. Remember Jackson's King Kong when they were running through the canyon and all the dinosaurs were just narrowly missing everyone with every single step they took, and you're like, okay. Whatever.
It was a little like that, yeah. So that's what we saw, is just somebody dodging dinosaurs and a little robot Wheatley telling them where to go. Let's cushion this with the other VR games that were announced. Battlezone.
Is that the tank one?
That's the tank one from Rebellion, yeah. It's apparently an Atari game.
Looks cool. That's it.
Describe it better. Describe it to someone who's never heard of Battlezone before. What is that game, Brad?
That's literally what you just said. It looks like an Atari game in the modern era.
It looks like an Atari game?
Like the Atari style. Mm-hmm. It was clearly influenced by that.
Well, yeah, it looks more I'd say similar to the Tron movie back in the day, It's just very, it's 3D, but it's just very flat textures and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And everything's glowing.
Yeah, and you're in tanks.
Could be fun.
You're VR and in tanks. But again, we just kind of saw tanks outside. We didn't see anything close to what's going to be like for us, I think, inside the tanks.
I had a really weird impulse when I saw this.
Okay.
I thought we were watching the drones that bigger players would use. When I saw the first shot of gameplay, I was like, oh, these are little things that someone sent out. And then any second now, we're going to see some big soldier come running through. And these are going to be his little things. And it took me 10 seconds to be like, oh, this is it. That's all this game is. It's just those little things. Just little things.
Yeah,
they look so tiny to me. I don't know.
I don't think that there's going to be a first person. I mean, maybe there'll be some of that, but I think it will be more of the way you saw it'll probably be how it plays.
Ooh, that'd be interesting. I mean, sometimes just the little things is good. We'll see. And again, it's just because of VR. Until Dawn: Rush of Blood. This is a game that doesn't seem to have much to do with Until Dawn. You are
That's weird, yeah.
You're in a minecart and scary things happen around you as you wear your VR headset.
Do you think they just slapped Until Dawn on that because successful?
Sure.
No, I think Supermassive is making it. So I think it's that studio. I think that. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say. I mean, I haven't watched this trailer, but just this popped in my mind. So Until Dawn was a fun B movie, right? And then maybe they were just we need something fun for VR. Why don't we just have the people who made that fun B movie make a fun carnival ride, like a haunted house ride?
Sure. Yeah.
Just do that.
The logo itself even kind of indicates that it's meant to be a haunted carnival ride. And I think that's it. It's nothing complicated with the Until Dawn tie-in. It's not necessary for sure, but it is what it is. And again, I guess let us play it.
It's hard to judge any of these games. You have to play them to get a feel from them. You can't just show us and what they showed in the press conference was off-screen footage, a lot of it. So we didn't even really get that good of a look on it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I will say as good as Crytek's looks, it's probably not going to run at that resolution. I mean, that's the one thing that, especially with the PlayStation VR, you can definitely, when you first put the thing on, you since that resolution dropped. Everything looks a little bit more grainy and jagged.
Because you need to hit that frame rate. That becomes way more important when you're in VR, correct?
And it becomes, something that like you just get used to and accept after you've been playing it for a bit. But it is like your first impression is like, oh, okay, this looks SD a little bit.
No, that's interesting, Blood, because that is a concern I have personally about PlayStation VR. Is the PlayStation 4 strong enough to give us good looking VR?
Yeah.
And I think like battle tanks it can handle. Yeah, I'm okay with
I
battle
hope
tanks.
so.
Yeah. And so like the more demanding games, like you said, like Robinson, I am concerned about that.
But that doesn't mean that they can't have like complex rendering and all that stuff. It's just like the actual like lines of resolution aren't as crisp as what you're used to.
Yeah. I mean, and again, it's just it's something we'll have to just experience. Unfortunately, we'll get there. We'll get there, everybody. Let's stop talking about VR. How about Matterfall? It's a game from Housemarque. Had a big budget CG trailer for the kind of things that Housemarque traditionally does. Brad, why are you so
I'm wondering
contemplative?
if this is going to be like a bigger budget game than what they usually do.
That'd be interesting because they've done so well because of their history. Sony's like, hey, how about a little more money?
Yeah. Like they've been making like small arcade kind of games, like Resogun and Dead Nation, which are cool games. I wonder if they're just getting a bigger shot now.
Sure.
Which I would like to see them do because they're making
Alienation.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I wonder if this is their step into AAA territory. Or
Do you believe in Housemarque? Can they pull it off?
Yeah, I do. Everything I've played by them, I like.
You're right. Yeah. Everything's on point,
They're
basically.
just solid.
Yeah.
That whole way that it looked, though, I mean, it was very Resogun. The way things just shattered and
Sure,
just
the
chunks
particles
everywhere.
Yeah.
I love those particles. Man, when Resogun first showed up in the office, I was just looking forward to the end of a level when everything blows up.
Yeah.
Freaking love that. And I was like, oh, cool, next gen. And that was it, man. Detroit Become Human was announced this week. This is Quantic Dream's new game.
It sounds like just horrible broken English when you say it as like a sentence. Did you hear Detroit Become Human?
Become Human.
Detroit Become
hear that.
Human.
This is, it's a Quantic Dream game. Many people might remember the Kara, I guess. It's like Lara Croft. It's Kara Roth. Kara is an android getting built together, and she's like, hey, stop it. And then like that was what that old demo was about. That was a PS3 demo.
Hey, stop it.
I want to be alive. Stop it. And so they're making a whole game based off of that tech demo. It was funny when you first announced this. He's just like, 27 million people watched that tech demo. It's like, okay, man.
Yeah, calm down.
Well, it's also been online for like 5 years. So
Yeah.
That's what happens when you...
And so this is a game that takes place in Detroit. You are an android who wakes up and decides to live the life of a human, to become human.
It looks exactly the plot of the show Humans.
What is the show
funny.
Humans?
Like it's that. It's androids and some of them are sentient, and this family buys one and they're like, is she sapient or not? And then she is, and it's like literally this. They're like, respect us, and there are some that are just like looking at the ones that are sentient, and they're like, why aren't you like me?
That's so sad.
And then they're like, we have stuff, maybe we can share this. It's like literally looks exactly the same.
Yeah, I mean it's what sci-fi has been telling for maybe 50 years, is this idea of like, hey, if AI gets a little too smart, like how do we handle that?
I mean, this like looks like even like visually pretty similar.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like
It's a little more future-y, but
I would say though that's a fair criticism. I think that the game's subject alone isn't that unique. And
Right. Sure, yeah.
So it's kind of going to have to fall onto the game to present something unique. What it did present unique, I think, is like Detroit. It's kind of fun
That
to
was
see
a
that.
weird pick, yeah. I was like,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
right.
I think it's an interesting pick because when you hear Detroit, you're like, oh, is it going to be some bombed-out hellscape? And then they're like, Detroit was the site of the big renaissance in tech. And I'm like, oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Some
But
wishful thinking.
I pointed out earlier, though, that Deus Ex Human Revolution had that same kind of...
Yeah. We've already been to Detroit in
Glove
the
onto
future.
the
We've already
Detroit.
been there. Yeah, it was cool. I was just talking to Brandon earlier today about the title and how I got it.
yeah.
It's coming. We got a little delay. If the title was Become Human, we would say F you game, like go die. But that it's Detroit Become Human, it's at least a little bit interesting.
It should still just be Detroit, though.
Yeah.
I'll always vote for that, but
Like,
yeah, sadly.
get the hell out of here, David Cage, with your subtitles.
Become
Because
Human.
he actually didn't say Become Human on stage. He said, now we're going to show you our
I
new
didn't-
game. It is
yeah.
called Detroit.
I
And he
didn't know
walked
it
off
had
stage. And I was
the
like, wow,
subtitle
Detroit's a
till
cool
later.
name. Oh, wait, no, it's not. But you think about, when you talk about like comparing it to Deus Ex, comparing it to Humans, I think that's what, like one of the big things that disappointed me about the reveal is that you look back at Beyond Two Souls, and I know that game, to most ended up being a disaster, but like imagine if when he was selling Beyond Two Souls, he was like, so it's got Ellen Page in it, and she has telekinetic powers. You're like, and he's like, that's it.
No.
And she's going out into the world.
Wait. Willem Dafoe.
Right. and Willem Dafoe's like the mean, professor guy who's like trying to hunt her down and she's going against him. Like, I would have zero interest in that game. But like, I was a little curious about that game because she actually gets her powers through this like ghost character that like has been with her since like her childhood. And so I'm like, oh, there we go. That's the thing. That's what makes it not the X-Men or, Heroes or, like anything else that deals with like, I have powers. Everyone's rejecting me. What do I do? And like revisiting these themes. And Detroit is lacking that for me right now. It's like,
needs a
okay,
thing, is what
you
you're saying.
discovered your robot, you're going out into the world.
There's no hook.
Then what? What else are you going to do to
But
differentiate
it's
yourself?
David Cage, so there'll be something completely ridiculous about,
Oh,
50
yeah.
60%
For once, I
of the game.
kind of want the ridiculousness, I guess.
She'll
I guess
fall
that's
in
what
love
I'm
with a
waiting for.
human.
Yeah.
Well, and there's
And then
gonna
like the
be
moths attack.
Yeah, the moths.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
the robo moths. Plus, there's going to be at least one shower sequence. There is.
Oh yeah.
Androids don't need showers, do they?
Nope.
This one
This
does.
one does.
She's
She wants-
human.
yeah.
She's a David Cage android.
You're standing
She
in
does
the
get
rain.
rained on.
The shower moment is the moment she becomes human.
Yes.
Drive Club Bikes. This is a game that was announced and released in the very same day of the press conference. It leaked ahead of time.
Kyle Bossman's favorite.
Yeah, this is my favorite. This is a $20 standalone game, meaning if you didn't buy Drive Club, you can go play it for $20. If you already have
cool.
Drive Club, you can pay it. You can play it for $15. Drive Club Bikes.
Like motorcycles or bicycles?
I wish bicycles.
It would have been
Yeah.
cool as bicycles.
I'm like lost interest.
What's funny is we
bicycles
did
would
the
be
live
awesome.
stream. We did a live response, and I asked chat, like, is this a big deal? And a lot of people said, yes, that Kyle, this is a big deal. People like bikes. This is like racing enthusiasts for motorcycles exist. Do we feel that?
I mean, it doesn't feel like a huge deal to me. It just feels, especially in a weird way, it's almost a backfire of how well they've been supporting Drive Club, because that game has like consistently been changing and updating and putting new things into the game. So it's like, oh, bikes. Okay, that's the next thing you're adding to Drive Club, even though, it is a more substantial thing. There's like 42 something bikes in there, I guess, and then you can drive them on all the, courses that already exist.
Yeah, but all those courses already exist. It doesn't, to me, feel like we're actually getting a new game, and I think that's why it doesn't feel like
Yeah.
a.
To me-
I mean, it has
it's
its
still
own
a thing.
campaign and stuff. Yeah.
To me, it seems like, because at first I was like, why would they not just put that in the game? But it seems like it's because not enough people bought the game and they're trying to get more people
I think the
in.
game sold well, actually.
Drive Club?
Yeah,
Really?
I think it did. I think it did
I
pretty
thought
well.
It crashed, tanked. I don't know.
Like critically, yeah. I
Well,
think
it
sold pretty
had
well.
a rough
Yeah,
launch.
because of all that
Yeah.
hullabaloo.
I'm not sure we can get numbers on this. I was going to say Ian, look it up, but I don't think they've ever published numbers on how Drive Club is sold. And
Eh.
we're certainly not using VG charts.
Word of mouth has had it, doing better over time.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it has a pretty gnarly fan base too, like diehard fan base.
Yeah,
What
I
I've
think-
heard.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and it's a looker.
Yeah.
It's certainly a looker.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I think they handled it really well. I think it was the right thing to give out, or not give out, but to have available that day.
you're right, because it is a low hype thing.
Yeah.
So why
And-
not release it on that day?
And it's better than more cars. It's better than just kind of like, oh, here's this other thing that's similar to what we've been doing. It's like, this will potentially shake things up. Can bikes ride with cars?
I don't think so.
That's crazy,
but I don't know.
No, why wouldn't bikes ride with cars?
That'd be fun.
It'd be fun, yeah.
What is this, Mario Kart?
You can do it in Burnout, I think. Burnout Paradise.
It's like
That ain't right.
snowboarding and skiers. You just don't mix.
Yeah.
SSX did.
But that's the thing. It's
That ain't right.
I mean,
That-
yeah,
that
that
is
is the
bad.
thing. If you were actually doing it with people online, they would just run you over. So,
sounds like fun.
because they kind of
That-
do
yeah,
it.
that
They
would play
kind of
Drive
do
Club.
already.
Door check.
Can run over bikes.
The last game that was announced is Avicii Vector. Avicii slash Vector. This
Audio
is
surf.
a wildly popular DJ
Nope, nope, nope.
music game. And Brandon's saying nope, nope, nope. So, Brandon, let's say that I'm a listener who's never heard of a Vici Vector right now. I've never heard of a Vici.
That's me.
So how do you explain to this person why it's nope, nope, nope? What is this game?
Well, it's he's a popular DJ that they wanted him to, because it makes sense. It's like if you got to do a music game, you're like, oh, we got to bring in so many different bands and stuff like that. It's like, oh, what if we just get one guy?
Yeah.
And that guy is the only person that supplies music for it, and it looks like just kind of like a weird triangle track based. I don't know if all of the tracks are going to be 3-sided or if it's just that one and there's going to be different ones. Kind of remind me of Amplitude in a little way, how like you're going through a tunnel, but it just didn't really grab me. Didn't really seem. I couldn't get the skill out of it, and it seemed very early on. It seemed kind of like he came in with the music and the style, and then the developers were like, "Where's the game here?" Okay.
It's
Maybe
definitely
do this.
one of those games where you are behind a thing that is traveling down a tube and there's music playing. I mean, there's a lot of games like that.
Yeah. Audio
I played one that was sort of like that not too long ago. I can't remember the name though.
That Scarab one?
Thumper.
Not Thumper, but that's
Thumper
cool
is
too.
There's
awesome.
another one, yeah.
Yeah.
And the music is cool once it gets going.
But see,
Yeah, but it's not
Thumper,
a Vici.
Thumper,
Thumper is first
Thumper
and foremost
Lightning
the
Bolt,
game.
Dog.
No, the one I played was very.
Yeah,
It
it's a
felt very much
rhythm
like
violence
kind of
game.
like F-Zero in a way. Like you were. It was sort of like a little bit more racing looking.
It's a genre that is still alive and thriving despite all the others that have died. Very interesting. Let's move on to a little bowl of assorted announcements. These are things that weren't necessarily game announcements, but new game announcements, but still news that came out of this press conference, out of this week. Tekken 7 is coming to consoles. There will be exclusive content on PlayStation 4. No more details than that.
They were running that logo dry.
Oh, yeah. And there will also be VR compatibility with Tekken 7, which to me is the most interesting part of all of that.
Yeah, really interesting. How are they going to do that?
Yeah, what?
Like
not that.
spectating or
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not that interesting. You're just gonna see them like they're on a table.
Not like they're on a table, like they're human beings in front of you, Bloodworth, to scale. You get to watch these two people in front of you fighting.
I'll check it out.
Future.
He'd rather have bikes.
I mean, I honestly feel like it's just gonna be, it's gonna be like you're in a 3D space with the game that you already know.
For listeners, with my enthusiasm that I just tried to get into Bloodworth, I was met with the coldest shrug, perhaps in the history of GT time.
Wait, don't
The
they
coldest shrug.
don't they have good like story modes in those games?
Tekken, not really. I mean, you get
But
cool.
people are into it, right?
You get cool stuff at the end. You know what I
The
mean?
old
I love-
cutscenes were
Yeah, what if
hilarious.
like you're doing
those.
VR with like some single player stuff?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just trying to think what else they could do besides that.
No, think of this. Think of it. It's Evo right now. Okay. I put on my VR headset and I'm watching the two best Tekken fighters in the world fight in front of me as if they're two human beings in front of me. I'm a spectator of this match.
You're there. You're in the crowd.
Nothing,
Yeah,
Blood.
you're one of the
Still
people in
nothing?
the background going,
Exactly.
Yeah. How cool would that be, Blood?
We'll see.
Blood doesn't care about VR.
No, I do. I'm actually very excited.
I'm the one
about
that doesn't
VR.
care about VR.
Yeah, Brandon. None of that excites you as well.
I think that's interesting. Nothing gimmicky excites me about VR. Nothing that's just like, hey, we're making this game, and then we'll do that too.
Oh, to me, that's not a. That's like a. Oh, it's like a reason to buy VR. That is so exciting to me.
Potentially could be cool.
right.
Maybe I supported the Kinect for just too long, and then just finally was like,
Oh,
all right,
yeah,
I'm fine.
sure.
I'm done. I'm out.
I get what you're saying.
Supporting the
I
Kinect at
apologize
all
for
was-
supporting this
was a
nonsense.
mistake.
I'm done.
It's hard to believe in technology.
I guess.
That
Yeah,
doesn't
I guess
exist.
with me, like something like a fighting game, it just to me it's something you're gonna be in a room with a bunch of buddies, and it's like, so why would like VR? I don't know. It just feels like a clash of cultures.
Yeah, because it would just be you. Like, you wouldn't do that with friends. You wouldn't be like, all right,
yeah.
I'm going to leave the entire social circle right now and just encase myself in this thing.
It's sort of a theme this week. The future is not for friends. Let's talk about No Man's Sky. Got a release date this week, June 2016.
Boo.
Yeah, that is kind of a boo. That's the middle of
That's-
E3 probably.
Well, and also it's just like,
Oh, no.
oh God,
Oh, I
like,
forgot about
oh,
Those poor people who thought it was going to be released.
yeah,
right then.
But also, like, I mean, yes, it's a small team. They've been working on it. This game's incredible.
Yeah.
But like, oh man, I don't know. I think it's just it's an unfortunate conflagration of
There it is.
hype and reality.
Yeah,
Because
that's-
like everyone was like, they're gonna drop it or get a release date this year, and then it was like, oh nope, a straight year from now.
Everyone should have learned
Have fun.
from Last Guardian and
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah.
But here's the difference: is like The last game this team made is Joe Danger 2.
Joe Danger, right?
Which is so weird.
And I downloaded it to support them. It's not a very good game.
Joe Danger 1 was kind of fun.
I actually prefer Joe Danger 1. Joe Danger 2 went in a lot of weird ways where it shouldn't have. Anyway, that team is making No Man's Sky. So like we gotta like keep that in mind when we're thinking of like how long this game is taking. It's like yeah, it's probably gonna take. I bet it's gonna get delayed. I bet it's not even coming out in June 2016.
Wouldn't be surprised.
I would be much happier if it came out in July.
Okay, at least a month. Hello Games. Street Fighter V is coming. This one's actually bumped up February 16th.
Yes.
Gotta hit that R. 6 characters will be released over the course of the first year of this game's release.
We were taunted with silhouettes.
Yeah, with like little
You mean
symbols
6
and like eyeballs
DLC
on them.
characters?
Kind of. Yeah, I mean they're not for free unless you haven't earned enough fight money to buy them. Is the way that game's working.
But 6 in addition to the ones that we already know about.
Correct.
Yes.
Oh. Okay,
There's 16 characters in the game. So I guess the question I want to ask the panel is that okay? Is that good?
I like that you can earn it just all in game. That's really cool.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I mean,
What's wrong with it?
Because I don't feel like anything's wrong with it, but it feels like something that should trigger me off. Do you know what I mean? It feels like something.
it feels
impossible to
similar to
predict what'll
Killer
upset
Instinct
you.
to me.
Yeah. And that is how Killer Instinct works, right? Well,
but it
Killer
sounds like
Instinct.
there's
It
gonna
didn't
be
have
way
it-
more
Yeah, it's
than
more.
this.
You're giving more out of the box than you
Weren't there
get
like
for
5
Killer Instinct.
characters in Killer Instinct or something stupid?
I don't think you can earn the characters with in-game currency in Killer Instinct.
Probably not.
Yeah, so I mean that's like probably the
Yeah.
defining difference. I guess but even bigger difference is that Street Fighter costs $60 up front, whereas
Yep.
Killer Instinct. Well, I guess you can spend that on Killer Instinct. Oh god, I think
It's
Street
like
Fighter
every-
5 is a value.
It's like every other fighting game nowadays, though. But you can at least earn it with in-game stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can with Mortal Kombat, right? Like Jason and Predator.
Oh no, you cannot earn them with
No.
in-game
Yeah.
stuff. That would please.
Also,
You
Dalsum
couldn't
looks
even
rad.
Earn
Oh,
Goro.
yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. That's a good takeaway too.
Can you earn
Dalsum was
more?
announced as a new character,
I don't think so.
and he does indeed look rad. Describe his look to listeners, Brandon.
He's got a big beard now.
What?
I like that
Yeah.
he looks older. Yeah.
Yeah, all the characters just like a little bit more mature.
I appreciate that. Thanks for letting the characters grow old as we
Also,
grow
with
old.
any hair is kind of weird.
He's got a turban.
Yeah. Yeah.
When
right?
did
He could-
Wouldn't
yeah.
it just catch on fire?
No,
he's too pro
He's
for
an
that.
expert.
He's got
a
lots of
pro.
great fire stuff. He's got this really great fire arc. It's just like I just love the idea and it's just really fast, frantic fighting game to just kind of like spit a little piece of fire out.
I
And
just
you're
don't,
like,
I don't see how that
you know?
beard just doesn't burn off in the first match, but okay.
He's
Oh,
got it.
you actually
he's
we're
got
getting
it-
into Street
Yeah,
Fighter
we're
physics
getting
here.
into-
He's got it groomed away from his mouth.
And he
He
waxes
can literally
it.
curly
Yeah.
cue his body up, and we're like
Yeah.
squabbling
Well,
over
yeah.
fire.
When did it become Dull Sim and not Dull Seam?
Oh, I might be.
No, I think it's Dalsim.
No, Bossman and I were talking about this the other day. He was saying Dull Sim. I was like, wasn't it Dull Seam?
I mean, it wasn't long enough. It wasn't that long ago that I was calling him Ryu still. You know what I mean?
When
Like-
it's really.
Oh gosh. Okay, so Battleborn beta is going to be first on PlayStation 4. Huge announcement. This is the next game from 2K Games. Also Gearbox.
Yeah.
Pass.
What was the announcement?
What is crazy to me that the beta is going to be first on PlayStation 4 sometime this year. What is crazy to me is that I think this should be a big deal. This is kind of what I want to talk about. Is that like Borderlands sells like crazy. Borderlands 2 did monster like sales. This is like the successor to that. It's like a lot of the same team, a lot of the same humor, the same publisher, same developer. Why doesn't Battleborn feel like a big deal?
I mean, kind of to be honest, I feel like the stigma against Battleborn are from the people that don't like Borderlands. So it's kind of a weird question. I think that people that are Borderlands fans are actually probably are looking forward to Battleborn to a degree. Not as much as they would a Borderlands sequel, of course, but they're probably curious.
I'm not feeling that, Blood, because there are a lot of people who bought Borderlands 2. And there are not a lot of people who are clamoring for the beta of this. And
The shooter market, I know it's just like redundant to say there's like so many shooters out there. The shooter market is on fire this year. Like every
Yeah.
shooter coming out this year is really good. You know, and like
It's a-
we don't have Black Ops 3 yet. We don't have Battlefront yet. You know, like
It's a
we
year where-
just got Halo 5. We're just kind of, getting used to those modes.
Rainbow
They're
Six
all-
is going to get buried.
Yeah, Siege.
Yeah.
Siege
Yeah.
still, wait, Siege.
It's coming.
Siege got bumped, right? Or did
Oh,
it
got
get
bumped to
to-
February. You're right.
Okay, yeah, see,
yeah.
It's safe. for
Yeah,
now.
thank
Kind of.
goodness
I mean,
Siege
still,
this
dude.
year.
Yeah.
That was really smart for them.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, we're backing out of that.
Now it looks really smart. You're absolutely right.
But I mean, they're all fantastic. So I think it's not only just Overwatch, having their beta beforehand. I still think one of the biggest faults of that game, just recently I finally got to play it competitively, and I was dying every time I picked up Battleborn. I was like, okay. And I think that's why, PAX came and went. It's like, nobody really talked about Battleborn, and Comic-Con came and went, and it was just because I played it again, and I played this single player mode that wasn't that tough with characters that are kind of fun, but I'm not really getting to showcase my ability because I'm not getting that crucial headshot, or I didn't just save that other player's life with this ability. I'm just kind of like, oh, mobs, oh, I died, okay, I'll respawn, I come back. And I think that was Battleborn for a long time, and it's just kind of finally building up momentum and becoming an actual game, and it's too late. It's like there's just so many other shooters that have so many other significant reasons to get people excited.
I think with Battleborn, it was a weird way they announced it. They announced it with, I want to say the attitude of the game feels outdated to me in a weird way. The humor and the style seem not that old, but just on the cusp of not being in anymore. It seems like a last year feel.
I absolutely get this. I think that going forward, sincerity. I think we're in. This is weird, but I think our global vibes right now is one of sincerity. I think we value as a society sincerity more, and we're into games that really believe in themselves more. And this game kind of seems like it's jokey.
And it seems like
inconsistent. It's definitely jokey.
Yeah, it seems inconsistent too, though, because some of the characters super badass cool guy, and then other characters are weird cartoony bouncing around guy, and I'm just well, which game what do you want from me?
Oh man, wait till you see League of Legends. You got to have goofy guys and serious guys. You got to have them all.
No, that's one of the reasons I hate. I do not like the aesthetic of League of Legends because it has no consistency.
Sure,
it's really weird, and then someone's in a clown nurse costume, and I'm all right, I guess nothing matters in this game.
Yeah, I think the other thing too is it is extremely comparable to Overwatch.
Yes,
and the problem is when I was at the reveal event, and saw that for the first time, I got the impression that they were trying to go for a sort of Blizzard style in their artwork.
Yeah.
And then Blizzard just came along and said no, this is how this is supposed to look.
Right, and at the time, Overwatch wasn't even a whisper in anyone's ears. Yeah. That was crazy. Let's talk about Nier Automata.
Is that how you say it this time?
Automata.
It'd be Automata.
Is it Automata?
It'd be
Automata.
Automobile. Automata.
I like Automata. Anyway, this is the Nier sequel that was shown to us at...
The Metal Gear Rising sequel, yeah.
Shoot, actually, was it TGS or E3? I can't remember when this was announced.
E3.
Was it E3?
Yeah.
For sure, during their Square Enix's press conference?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was announced then, had no title until this week. We had a debut trailer. We learned, I think, semi-recently that not just that Platinum Games is developing, but it's actually the Bayonetta team working on this game. And this week we saw this game in action for the first time, and it definitely looks like the Bayonetta team.
Yeah.
So that was cool. I wish this was in the press conference. I don't know why it wasn't. I think this is one of Sony's exclusives. Yeah, you got another one. Why don't you put that in your press conference? But yeah, it came out the day later and just looks stunning.
Yeah, they were probably no one cares about Nier, really.
I know. I think, Brad, that's what it is.
That's probably what it was.
So here's this weird thing is, Nier isn't a big name, but this seems like a semi-big budget game.
Yeah.
Can you explain to us why this is happening?
I don't even know why this game exists. It's so cool.
No idea, yeah.
That's really cool. I've never played Nier, but I hear great things about it, and it's a really, really dedicated fan base. Ben Moore loves that game.
Yeah. I'm okay on it.
But it's real. I'm so happy this game exists. It's so cool that they're willing to make that game.
Brad, I think you hit something really nice there because it seems like a trend over the last few years of AAA game development is no risks. We're trying to make the safest games possible, and games that aren't safe just get canceled. And so I think it is nice to see things like this get made in this era.
Well, and it's also, here's the thing, is it's not just that it's a new IP or anything. This is an IP that essentially, it just kind of went undercurrent.
It failed. Yeah.
It's got the cult following, but I'm sure the sales didn't really justify the budget to make that game.
Yeah.
But somebody there still let's keep this thing going.
I would love to see more studios do this kind of thing where it's do the exploitation films where you spend $50,000 or $15,000 on a movie, knowing that $100,000 worth of people are going to go see it.
Yeah,
You know?
it's
So,
not
like,
an Uncharted 4 budget.
Right.
It definitely does. You can
make
see
this
it.
game for $1 million and sell and make $2 million. You know, like do 20 of those a year that are like more interesting, riskier ideas instead of one Call of Duty or whatever.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah,
Differentiation.
I like to see Square Enix have confidence in its studios, in its fans. I like to see the confidence in both of those things. It's an encouraging game to see. Let's talk about something slightly discouraging. Nintendo's first mobile game was announced this week. Of course, Nintendo had one of its quarterly investor meetings. Had to tell everybody what's up, how they're doing with sales. Amiibo flying off the shelves, over 20 million sold. What's interesting is that leading into this event, we were told through rumors that Nintendo would finally reveal its first mobile game that would be released this year. Nintendo said themselves their first mobile game will be released this year when they first announced their deal with DNA. It's called Miitomo. Miitomo is a social communications game, application, should it even be called a game. You use your Miis, you answer questions that the game gives you, and then when you walk by friends, your Mii will talk to your friends' Miis, and you will learn things about your friends that you may not have known before. This has been delayed out of the year.
CIA, the game.
It's been delayed out of the year. It's not coming out this year at all. It's coming out in 2016. Because there's just too much. They said they need more time to promote it. They said they need more time to get everything ready. They said it's not like the game is taking a long time to develop. No, we just need to promote it for longer.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is Nintendo's mobile initiative. This is what everyone wanted. This is what Pactor wanted. Here it is. It's Miitomo.
There's no better promotion than admitting you're bad at promoting your product.
Yeah.
That's so good.
So what do we think about this?
Wait, hold on. Let me get this.
But this is a free to play. This is essentially a Street Pass for your phone.
Yes.
Okay.
It's free to play,
Which I could be way down for.
Yeah.
I mean,
Don't lie.
that's a thing.
You're gonna be into it.
That's the thing I've wanted my phone to do for a long time.
They're gonna give you
Just
those
'cause I
puzzle
see,
pieces. You guys are gonna freak out.
I mean, you think about it. You think about all the negative things people say about society. You know, like the people love taking pictures of people like on their phone and then showing like, look at all these high school girls on their phones.
Yeah.
Like no one's friends anymore. And like, how cool would it be to like, you know, just change up that social environment to have like 40 people that are on a bus that are all doing separate things on their phone, and you just connect two of those people. You just have two people who go, oh, that guy over there is playing that. Oh, hi. And, you know, and
But it's like, what do they do? They just go,
you're that guy. I
"Hi."
wonder who that guy is. Like, oh, it's you, and we're both playing the same game. That's funny. Hold up the phone. Like, yeah, we're playing the same. That's funny. Okay. Yeah, sure. You want to do a little Tetris together? Okay, we're done. Okay, bye. And then you get off the bus, and just like slowly but surely,
Can
like
you play games together?
I don't know, but it's, you know what I get? Like that's
Brandon, I really
I'm
appreciate
assuming
this
that's,
positivity.
That's what Nintendo is hoping, is that we're
Okay.
like, wow, imagine the possibilities there.
I should also mention it is free to play. You can buy things for your Mii. The way that you can spend money on this game is you can buy things for your Mii to wear and have.
Yeah. But they were also talking about the Nintendo accounts and you know, things that you would do on the mobile games could, you know, tie into games on your consoles in the future and that kind of thing as well.
Yeah,
That sounds cool.
embracing the cloud.
It's also fun to speculate if this is some kind of like very early and just like a software version of it, but like an NX rollout where it's like this is gonna plug into that.
This will
So,
definitely
like,
talk to NX.
So
absolutely.
you know, 'cause
Synergy.
The PlayStation app is amazing, and so it'd just be cool to see
Sure,
Nintendo
yeah.
catch up. And do
Yeah, I
something
could
like
just
that.
see, like, you know how people do all those, you know, those really cool drawings on
Yeah.
Miiverse now. Just imagine if, like, you know, you draw a picture in Miiverse and then, you know, your Miitomo goes out on your phone. It's like, hey, look what I drew.
All right, you guys are getting me excited about Miitomo. You know what? It could have been worse. All right.
It'd be nice if Nintendo was getting excited about Miitomo.
As we close this, though, I should mention that Nintendo's stock dropped like hard after this
Because of the delay. Yeah.
because of the delay, but also because of Miitomo. There was
No, it was
Uh.
before. It was before Miitomo was talked about.
You're right, because the meeting ended. It's really funny. The meeting ended just like that's it, and then when the Q&A started, that's when they finally started talking about Miitomo. But yeah, what I just read like in a quote from an analyst in Japan who was so disappointed there was no Mario or Zelda. You know, it's like they don't. It's fine. Okay, let's talk about.
Keep an eye on the time.
I am. Okay, thank you, Ian. I definitely am. So we'll talk about this very quickly, but I think this is so interesting. This year in Backdoor Shady Deals, we have a really interesting one. Vivendi is buying Ubisoft stocks. And I should read this headline.
Refresh us as to who Vivendi is.
Vivendi's
They're a big media company.
Yes, exactly. Just a huge corporation. Used to own Activision, and then sold off their Activision slowly. But yeah, Vivendi is like just corporate, just huge, like creepy huge.
Evil money people.
Evil money huge, going after Ubisoft. First, earlier this month, they bought 6.2% of Ubisoft. Then they bumped it up and bought 10.4%. So right now, Vivendi owns 10.4% of Ubisoft. Ubisoft is nervous. They don't want this to happen. Vivendi's like, hey, we want seats on the board of directors now. And Ubisoft is like, oh, God, no. And so they're trying to come up with defenses, like perhaps getting in new investors to lower the percentage that Vivendi has. There's insane stuff happening right now. I can't go into an analysis too much because obviously I'm like a dumb idiot.
Takeover.
But yeah, it is that is the word being used. And that is what they're so scared of, is this hostile takeover of Vivendi over Ubisoft. How crazy is this?
It's amazing to me that can even, I mean, like, it makes sense because it's a publicly traded company, but like that can happen is hilarious to me.
Yeah.
Someone could just come in and be like, I own you now.
It's
Hi.
insane. Yeah.
Wasn't that like The Dark Knight? Isn't that how that ended? Where he like, I have the stock.
Oh, yeah.
And Wayne Enterprises. I'm my own boss.
Oh, yeah. I bought the majority, the
Little
shareholder.
sneakeroo.
Yeah, in this case, it's like Vivendi, like poor Yves Guillemot is just like, he's doing these interviews. He's like, I don't want this to happen. We're not cool with this. Oh my gosh. Okay, we'll move on though. That's just, I think
Templars, man.
I think this is actually the most.
Taking over.
They're doing what they want. Let's move on to, well, you're the one who started this conversation. Let's go with the faster one. This is from Gigo Pepo. Hi guys, I'm from Brazil, and always watch the shows even if the subject is about something like price drops and stuff that really doesn't mean anything for us here outside of the US.
Thank you for watching.
So I started thinking about how much the games, music, and movie industries are trying to make their products global. Thinking here about China opening the market for console games and a lot of AAA movies, nodding to their audience as well as other markets outside of Europe and Japan. And that makes me wonder if you guys stop to think about the outside market and fans of video games. So my question is this: why is the global market so overlooked by the US gaming media when it's really clear that we are more than ever a huge part of this culture? Hope that question makes sense.
You can't just like sell a game in another country.
Because we're American and we only care about ourselves.
Well, in a way, we only know about ourselves, right? Like, especially like, governments like those operate very differently and exert a lot more control over things and have censorship and weird tax things that they do to games. And so it's kind of hard to speak. It's almost like, Bossman trying to talk about the Vivendi thing. It's like, we sort of know about what's going on, but not really.
It is that. It is absolutely that. I mean, and NPDs are the numbers we have, where we almost only quarterly get global numbers, and if that. Oh, I did want to talk about Microsoft not announcing numbers anymore.
Right.
They said we're only talking about like Xbox Live subscriptions. We're not going to talk about console numbers anymore.
Yikes. Are they not public?
You don't want to hear these.
Yeah.
That was private? Microsoft is private?
Yeah, that was their financial, their quarterly announcement was just like, hey, I think they're public.
Yeah, I thought if you're public, you have to report.
I thought so too, but they're like, no, we're not. Here's our Xbox Live subscribers. We're doing very good.
Yeah, you could probably, you probably have some control over which information you want to share.
Yeah, I think there's like reporting your bottom line and reporting very specific.
You don't have to get
subdivisions
specific
of it.
units.
Shoot, I'm sorry. I wish we had more time to answer this question.
I like what Blood was saying though. Like it is. Like, American culture is very insular, more so than maybe non-American places. Like, our news doesn't talk about other places except for when we have oil interests.
Oh, you're right. And even if you watch BBC, it is much more international. It's not just only talking about things that are going on in England.
Yeah, but exactly. I mean, it's like we have some limited perspective of what's happening in Japan and what's happening in Europe, but then you get outside of that, and it just
unless we're bombing them, we don't know about them.
PBS is good too. PBS NewsHour.
It's a great note.
It's good.
We will try to always keep our international audience in mind because we love our international audience here at GameTrailers, at least. So I think that's cool. Thank you for your comments. And yeah, we'll try to keep that in mind always, that talking about US dollars can get boring for you. Let's do time for bets. Need for Speed will be released on Tuesday. This is the one with the FMV videos where people are looking at you in the camera and saying, hey, good ride. And also
you got a drink that comes like right into the shot. It's a little bit
you
blurry
take
cup.
Sips of soda in first person.
Wow. It's funny that they didn't wait to see if Guitar Hero Live backfired before going ahead with this idea.
Well, this thing is, I mean, they both have a lot of money into them, but yeah, this is like they're pioneering some of the technology as well.
Yeah, two teams with the same idea. Sometimes
And Need
things
for
just
Speed
work
has
that way.
done live action
Like
a lot.
Ants and Bugs
so
Life.
It's like
Yeah, exactly.
brand new to Guitar Hero, but Need for Speed live action's like that's classic. They've done that a lot.
How long will the end credits be is our bet. The person to reveal first. Blood, you revealed first last week, didn't you?
Yep.
So it's Brandon this week.
7 minutes.
Okay.
7.
I think it'll be 11 minutes and 21 seconds.
Oh, me?
Yep.
I said 6 minutes.
I have 8:30.
Ah, damn you, Blood.
Okay, Ian, can we get access to the vault, please?
What?
Can you buzz me in?
Yeah, hang on.
Okay, I'm trying to get access to the vault. Okay.
We surely have the time for this.
Okay, thank you.
That
Okay,
one?
we're walking into the
Oh
vault.
my god, it's on loop.
Okay, we're walking to the vault. Okay, now let me lock those in.
Oh
Okay.
my god, are you gonna do this every time?
Yep.
We should walk in before we place the bets.
All right.
Okay, locking it in.
So
Okay.
confused. as to-
Okay.
Okay.
That was a
I'll
weak
copy
lock.
that other sound then and put it over in this subgroup.
Great. Last week's bet, Halo 5 released this week. What we bet on, oh my gosh, I love this bet. First we bet on like, hey, who's going to win Tuesday night, launch night, Overwatch or Halo 5 on Twitch at 7 p.m. The bet in this particular was, how many views will Halo 5 have? Okay, so here's what happened. Halo 5 got destroyed by Overwatch at 7 p.m. on Tuesday. Halo 5 Guardians had 20,341 viewers. Overwatch had 105,958. So that's a
5-1.
Quite a bit.
500% victory. So that's what that was. So I was in last place. I was 131,000 off. Jones, Blair for you was 115,659 off. Blood, you were 19,659 off. The super seat, and Davis nailed this. He
Killed it.
He was only 341 off.
Wow.
Whoa.
He bet 20,000, and the answer was 20,341.
Wow.
How insane was
Yeah,
that?
that's crazy.
He crushed it.
He knew.
So now the super seat has, and this is a big deal, super seat has reached Bloodworth. It is now a tie, 14-14.
Awesome.
Jones, you have
Less
6.
than half of that.
It's just it's amazing though, right? That like they're
I have
always
10.
neck and neck. It's like a collective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're still trying to take you down, Blood. So, Brad, what you win a handful of things. First, you win the right and responsibility to tell everyone what your Twitter handle is. Then, you should invite everyone to watch any video on GameTrailers. Then, you get the final word. If you disagreed with anything that was said throughout this entire episode, you get to say the final word on that subject.
I'm no Huber. I'm pretty mellow about it.
Okay, but you still have to say something, and then please give us your trademark sign-off.
Okay, sure. You can follow me on Twitter at BradleyLS87. I want to promote Huber Hype. He's talking about monsters. Really fun episode.
Okay.
This week's or next week's? The one
Is
that's
this
up there
next
right now.
The one that's up there
Yeah.
right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
What,
about.
did you just
Huber
really
Hype.
like that episode?
Yeah, it's cool.
Okay.
I
It's
love
not-
monsters,
and It's
too.
nothing to do with the end of it, right?
No.
Okay.
God,
got
no.
it. Okay.
God, no.
Great.
What was the other thing?
Your
Close out.
final word. If you
Oh.
disagree with anything that was said today, what is the final word you want to say about it?
I don't think I really disagree with anything, but I want to. With that question about talking about international markets is really interesting to me now.
Okay.
So I kind of want to start diving into that more. I'm
Dive
really
in.
fascinated by all that kind of stuff.
Cool.
So, like always, thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for hanging out on GameTrailers. And as always, be excellent to each other.
I love.